let me know if everyone can see my screen. Okay, yeah. So our today's session is building real-time applications with Laravel Broadcasting. So how we can build some real-time applications, and that is why like I put this all real-time things. So yeah, let's see. So yes, already Bhavdeep did my introduction. Like I'm working with Laravel since 2012 or like early 13, and I just love open source and want to contribute there. And this is the repo where you can find my contribution for open source, github.com/infeomlabs. This is where like we put these all things, and this is the repo that we will see today as a demo. And right now it is private, but I will just open source it once this session is done. And yeah, I just do some Laravel consulting, and I'm programming by passion, and I speak at multiple Laravel events. So let's start it with PHP applications. So what we generally use with PHP applications so far, when someone asks like what you build in PHP, our general questions are like, say, website development or API development or e-commerce apps, or sometimes static websites, or sometimes some products. But nothing comes to real time when we generally talk about PHP, right? We still know that old things like we are polling or Ajax calls or something like that. So now what is real time applications? So real time applications are now taking a trend. Now there is an era of real time application where no one wants to refresh a page. Oops, there is one typo, but yeah, like even when we are using right now on web, we do not want to hit refresh. We want to see everything on screen just like we are using it. So how it works? So we all almost know, like whoever worked with little bit about or little bit with real-time applications, they know it works with Socket.io, and mostly all the real-time applications are taken over by Node.js. So if someone want to tell us, I want to build this real-time, then the people go for Node.js. Like you need to do Node.js thing. It can not be built in PHP. But that is not actually the thing. We can build real-time applications with Laravel and just without leaving any comfort of PHP, right? So what can be use cases? So let's talk about little bit about the use cases, what we can build. So first thing that comes is chatting. So we can do real-time chatting, and that is what we are going to see today. Notifications. So we all know, like when we use Facebook or any other social tool or any other even project management system, if we are building, so say someone did some comment on your task, right? Then you want to see some real-time notification on the header. So that also comes, like if you are seeing the page, someone else, like some other user of or your teammate is doing some comment, then it will call the PHP API. Then how PHP can tell actually the front end that some comment has been done, and you update some UI on the browser without refreshing the screen. The third thing can be real-time collaboration, that we can treat it as like if you have used Trello or any kind of Kanban board, or even we can say like Google Docs or something like that, where one card is moved to other column, or whatever we are calling a list or something like that, then it will be reflected in the real time on the other person who is watching the same board. Other than that, it can be real-time updates. Like we all know, now we are making dashboards, but if there are some dashboards where lots of data is coming on the back end, so say like IoT devices or something like that, or there is some stock chart or prices of the cryptocurrency or prices of the currencies, that kind of thing is there where we need to update chart in real time, then that kind of use cases are there where you can use Laravel Echo or Laravel Broadcasting, where you need actually updates from server to the browser. Otherwise, what we generally do in the PHP is like we call API from the browser to server, but server never send any information to us back, like whenever something happens on the server. So these are some use cases that we can build. Now let's see Socket.io. So now what is Socket.io? So Socket.io is event driven library which enable us to communicate in real time in full duplex communication. So we all know, like when we were studying in college, there was something like this keyword, that full duplex, single duplex, or some single way communication, that kind of thing. So when we do some API call, right, that is one way communication, either from mobile device, either from browser. We are saying something to the server, but server never says us when something happens on the server, right? But on socket.io, that is possible. We can have a full duplex communication. And to do that, socket.io actually uses two components. One is Node.js server, and another is JavaScript client-side library, which is actually the socket.io client, right? So that is how it works. So there is some server and there is some client, and this both talk with each other. So this is some diagram which is REST versus WebSockets. So in generally REST, we all know, like even I know from 10 years from now, what I was doing was I was doing polling. So I continuously call backend API and I put some timeout. So say something is coming. So I make a call, then I wait for 1 minute, then I make again a call to the server, then I again for a minute, then I again make a call. So that kind of things we are doing when we need some real-time update. So there is only one way. You ask for something and server responds. You ask for something, server responds. But in WebSocket, what is possible? When you ask something, server tells you something. Even server can tell you something, and it is even in the real time. Like it can send something to you, on the same time you can send something to the server as well. So that is how basically it works, right? Now let's move to now Laravel broadcasting, right? So what is Laravel broadcasting? So Laravel broadcasting can, increase the possibility to us to update, send updates from back end to front end in real time. Even it supports multiple connectors. One is socket.io, another is pusher, and even you can do that without leaving any comfort of PHP and Laravel. Like you do not need to work on any kind of Node.js server code. It is just simple as you are dispatching some Laravel events if you have already worked with Laravel events, right? So we create one event class, then we dispatch it or broadcast it, and it will just work. So how it works, let's see, like with both of the channels, with pusher and socket.io. So pusher is something where you don't need to manage any kind of things. You just need to integrate the pusher SDK. They have very fine plan where you can send, I think, 1 million or 2 million messages in their free plan, and you can have 100 concurrent connections. So if your application is really small, then you can plan to use pusher, where you do not need to manage any kind of backend thing. But if you are planning to have your own thing, then you can use socket.io, where you can have your own Node.js server running on your server. So let's first see with the pusher. So how this thing actually works. So imagine we have three users, user 1, user 2, and user 3. Now we have a Laravel application and we have a pusher. So we have a pusher service, I mean. So what happens? Either user 1 or user 2 or user 3 calls the API of our Laravel application. So what Laravel application does, it sends or it calls the same API of the pusher. And when you are using the pusher library on the browser, it will make a socket connection, real-time socket connection with the pusher server. So whenever you are saying something or any of your user is saying something to Laravel application will tell pusher, and pusher will send update to the all the users or to the user where you want to send it. So it is just simple. Like there is someone, because PHP itself cannot manage real-time connection, right? So it will tell something to pusher and pusher will tell something to all of our users. So this is with pusher. Now let's see how it works is socket.io. So when we are using socket.io, we need one more component, which is Laravel Echo server, and you need Redis. There is a concept in Redis that is called publisher, that is publisher and subscriber. So there can be one topic or something like that where anyone can publish and subscribers can subscribe. So they will get real-time updates. So here what we are doing is Laravel application will publish a message to the Redis, and our Echo server will be subscribed to the Redis. So whatever Laravel application is telling to the Redis will tell to the Echo server. So this Echo server is actually one Node.js server, right? So it will send then updates to all of our users. So where we just need to focus on our Laravel application and do not need to do anything or any programmer with Echo server or Redis pub shell, right? So that is how it works. Now let's deep into Laravel Echo. Like what is Laravel Echo and how it actually works and what we need to do. So it is basically one JavaScript library, and it is actually event driven Laravel or channel and events driven broadcast library, I will say. So yeah, if we are using a pusher, then we need to run this command: composer required pusher PHP server and 4.0. And then we need to, this is actually the backend side, and this is actually the front end side where we are installing the npm package. We'll all see it in demo, but we have some time constraints, so we'll not go and install this everything. So I've just listed the steps here, but these all steps are already listed over here as well. So if you go here in Laravel documentation, right, and there is a very fine steps here. So you need to composer require, hit this, then if you are using Redis, then you need to add Redis. You need to use broadcast driver to Redis. If here you need to use pusher, right? So there is all the steps are available there. Here you need to install Socket.io client. So all the steps are being available very briefly over Laravel website documentation, right? So if you are using Redis, then you need to run these two commands. But if you are using pusher, then we need to run these two commands. Now, what is actually channels and events and how it works? So channel is something where, so let's consider you have one kind of say we have one big tank of water, and there are 10 pipes, and then in those pipes, like big pipes, there are some small pipes which are coming out of that. So channel is something from where the data will flow, right? So and like it is basically the thing which you want to communicate. So channel can be like the name of your room, like in which room you are doing chatting. It can be the name of a user to which you are doing chatting, right? So it is kind of the way to controlling the access of different stream of information. So say you can have channel of notification, you can have channel of like chat updates, you can have a channel of like chatting. So that kind of channels you can create. But what you need to take care is, when you are defining a channel, you need to choose wisely how you want to create channels and what information you want to send it. So channel should be always created by the type of information, right? So that is something called channel. We'll see it in demo, like how it works. And there can be three types of channel. One can be public channel where anyone can subscribe with and there can be private channel where you can put some authorization logic, like who can connect to this channel, and it will be prefixed by private dash, right? And there can be one presence channel. So that is something like when user comes offline or go come online or go offline, even to particular channel, right? As we are seeing in chatting, like when someone goes online or goes offline, that is kind of a logic where it can describe your presence. So when you join some channel, uh, then it will acknowledge your presence in that channel. So these are three mainly types of channels that we have. Now move to events. So what is event? So now we have a channel. So say we have a channel called like chat updates, right? But we have 10 chats. So what can be event? So event can be like, event is, you can say, kind of handlers or name messages. So say consider there is a room, or say there is one home where there are 5 rooms. But when I say like Hiran, then only Hiran will respond because he is subscribed to the name of Hiran, right? So the channel is the same. I am broadcasting message on the whole channel. There are 5 rooms, right? But only Hiran will respond from his room. कि कौन है भाई, कौन बुला रहा है, right? So that is kind of event. So you can then when you have decided like that I want to post an update or broadcast an update about chat, but with chat. So that can be your event. Like I want to update chart, which is say like USD to INR, or I want to update a chart, which is say EUR to INR. So that kind of events is possible. Basically, you can treat as a router of your channel, right? So it can be client side router where you can actually filter it, right? So that is event. Now let's see about configuration, the same thing that we have seen in the even Laravel documentation as well. So this is the config file which you need to where you can actually make some updates, but it is not necessary, completely optional. If you are going with just a Laravel way, then nothing needs to be updated. There are three kind of drivers available. One is pusher. So if we are using pusher, then we need to specify pusher, redis, and log. Log is something that which will actually log all of your messages directly to log file, where you do not want to send any updates or something like that. And one thing that you need to do is you need to uncomment this broadcast service provider in your config/app.php in providers array. So that's it about configuration. Now there is one inbuilt file which is coming with the Laravel, which is resources.js and bootstrap.js, where they are already providing this code, but it will be commented. So if you are using pusher, then you need to uncomment this code, where you need to put these keys, like which you will get from the pusher. So this is the configuration about pusher, and this is about socket.io. So just like we need to update our broadcaster plus required thing, and then like Laravel Echo, and also we need to install Laravel Echo server. There is a very good documentation on installing Laravel Echo as well. Echo server as well. So this is what we need to do configuration. And after doing this, the most important thing that you will need to do will be you need to run npm install and npm run dev, and you need to include your app.js from public folder to your application. We will see this all in the demo. So yeah, let's see the demo. So this is an application. Let's see first like how it works. So this is one chat that I have built. There are two users online. So I have opened one browser over here, which is this user like me. There is one another user which is logged in over here. So if you see, like if I send some message over here, let me resize it. You all can see my screen, right? Yes. Okay. Yeah. So let me resize it. This is a very basic UI that I have built for just a demo. So might be there can be some bugs related to scrollings or something like that. But yeah, so let's see send some message. Hi Mitul. And you see this is replicated over here in the real time. So this is Firefox, this is Chrome. So let's send some message. Hi Ankit, how are you? You see it is actually added over here. And if I close this tab, right, you see Ankit is online here. And if I close this tab, then will instantly go offline, right? And if I open it again, he will be back to online. So now let's see some code, how it actually works, right? So yeah, so what I did is like basically first of all I just created one very basic UI. So if you go to home, if I go to web, I have a home and I have a home controller. So if I go to home controller, it is returning like home index view, and it is sending all users into that, and it is sending all messages with sent by. So we have two tables, messages and users, and let's see the schema of that. If I go here, this is the schema of messages, where it is very simple: who sent the message, what is the body of the message, and ID and timestamps, nothing else, right? And yeah, so that is about the message table. User is normal Laravel user table, nothing special, name, email, password, that's it. So yeah, it is doing this thing. Now if we go to the index.blad.php, what it is doing, so it is rendering all the users. So I have made some components like a chat user and chat message component. So so what we are doing, we are running a loop of user. If you can see here, all users and as a user. So we are rendering this component and we are passing user there. And if we open chat user component, then it has this kind of HTML where we are doing some data defining some data attribute for letter manipulation. There is an image, then there is a username, then we are checking if the user ID is same as authenticated user ID, then we are adding this minor u to the text. And then we have this online and offline thing. Just consider here we are adding a danger class and offline. So by default we are adding it as offline. So all the users which are rendered are by default offline. Then we will make it online. We will see next how we are doing that. So this is basically the UI. So if we check it over here, it is simple like image, name, and online offline status. So by default they are offline. Now let's move to our message component. So which is chat message component. Over here we have uh, this kind of HTML where we are attaching chat left or right class, because we want to see if I am the user who have sent this message, then I need to uh, align it to right, otherwise left. So what we are doing over here is, so say like if the message sent by is auth ID, then align it to right, otherwise align it to left. Pretty simple CSS. Then we have an image where we are calling out our URL of the sent by. So if I go to the message model, we have a relationship sent by with user, which is belong to relationship. And then we have a message, and then we have a timestamp created it, and it is basically formatted to hour and minute, right? So yeah, that is what about the UI. So in first place, this all things are rendered. So whenever any user open the page, it will render this all the UI. But the catch is all users will be offline. So that is what the home.index does. Nothing special. We have one form over here to send a new message. Now the main logic that we are doing is in chat.js. But before that, let's see all the steps that we have done. So if you go to composer.json, I have already installed pusher because I am using pusher. Then if I go to package.json, I have installed pusher.js, and I have installed Laravel Echo as well. You need to install either one, either pusher or socket.io. So in the same way, if you go to composer.json, either you use predis or you use pusher servers, right? So any of one you can use. And then if I go to app.php in config, you see I have uncommented this line. This line comes by default commented when you do any fresh Laravel installation, right? So I have uncommented this, and what is basically do, it publish the broadcast route. Same way we are publishing auth routes, right? Same. So it will be publishing some internal routes, so you can use it. Now, so yeah, that is about the installation. Then we have a webmix file which is coming by default with the Laravel, and we open bootstrap.js. And if you see here, I have added this thing like Laravel Echo, pusher.js, broadcaster is pusher. These app keys are added. So if I go to .env, it will have those pusher keys. Don't worry, I will just delete it after this meetup. But yeah, you can get these keys by creating an account on the pusher. So yeah, that is what we have. Then I will run npm run dev on my terminal, and it will create one file which is in JS, app.js. So this file will be basically created, and this file needs to be added in your index.js. Sorry. So yeah, if you go to layouts.app, and if you see, we have added that JS file over here. These are some dependent libraries like jQuery, Bootstrap, Popper, Nice Scroll, JS Render, and those kind of things. So now let's see this file. What is exactly in chat.js? So yeah, this is chat.js. So this is one file, like I will say 122, including comments and everything, but less than 100 lines of code, which is managing this whole chat application. So this is something I have tried to put all the comments, what I'm doing. So later on, maybe if you are checking a demo, you can actually check it, what exactly this code does. So this is something to initialize just a nice scroll library on the container, and we are scrolling to bottom. This is CSRF protection, which Laravel is giving, or I think you all are familiar about. Then this is where the all things works. So if you see, we are listening for this event. So why this? So let's go before that. So we will skip this right now and let's see what happens. So whenever we are hitting a send button, it is calling send message, right? So what send message does? It just collect a message from the text input and it calls the API, which is send message URL, which is basically the send message, which is this route, right? So whenever user is sending a message, it is calling the API. Let's see. So if I go to inspect element over here, 1 second, okay. And if I go to network tab, and if I say, how's it going? You see, it is calling one API, which is send message API, right? And it is sending a message to the server. Now what server is doing? So this is the function in controller which is handling that. So it is getting a message from the text, then it is creating one message object where it is putting a message text in body. Sent by is assigned by authentication user, and it is saved. Now what else it does? It prepares one response message. This is something like which we need on front end. So we are just designing this message the way we need in front end to display those all informations. If you go to chat message, we need like ID, sent by, author URL. So these kind of things are prepared over here, right? But then it uses broadcast a new chat message event, right? So we are then sending this message to there. So what this is, it is one event. So this is something important. This is how you send update to the front end. So I need to create one event which should implement the interface should broadcast. And this is all about our label in this document. So if you are following that, so you see you need to dispatch an event. It should implement the should broadcast interface, and then you need to define the channel on which channel it should broadcast. So what we are giving over here is broadcast on Laravel Live chat. So this is our channel name, and I'm using public channel, right? So anyone can subscribe to. The second method, broadcast with what data you want to send to the front end, right? So I'm sending message and this message. So whatever data I have prepared over here, so I'm sending this data to the front end, right? So and another thing, it should implement interact with socket interface as well, right? So these two things are really important when you are dispatching a event, and that event should be broadcasted over the socket to the front end. So do not forget to implement these two things, right? So yeah, it is dispatching one event, so it will dispatch this event on this channel to the front end. Now let's get back to the chat there. So here what we are doing, here we are listening for a message. So how we can do that? Pretty simple. Echo dot channel. Here you can specify a channel name, and then you can listen, and here this is our event name. So this is the same event name class which we are specifying. So exact same message should exact same name of the event should be given over here, right? And then we are getting message. So if you see here, we are passing a message property, right? So we will get here message. So the same message that we have sent from here, this message will be retrieved to the front end, and then it will add that message to, it will prepare the data which is need. This is pure like JavaScript that you can understand very well. And then it is appending that HTML output to the chat container, which is in our index.js. If you go here, this is our chat container where we are rendering every message, right? But this is now done by jQuery and that kind of thing, right? And then we are doing scroll to bottom. This is some logic which you can understand from JS render. So this is the library which is JS render, so you can use it. It was very handy to like render complex things and that kind of thing. So we have used it, but it is just some JavaScript code, nothing special. So now let's come to the presence channel. So how this particular online offline thing is working, right? There is a documentation for that as well that you can read at the bottom, presence channel, right? Let's see that. So what we are doing, this way, like we can create a presence channel and subscribe to. But before this, what you need to do, you need to go to channels.php, which is in routes. Like if you go to routes.channels.php, you need to create one channel over here. Then you need to specify if the user should be able to subscribe to user updates. So what I have did, like if the user is subscribed, then I can do that. But you can write any custom logic for this. If user can join this chat, then you can see like if the user is really in this room or he has permission or something like that. Any kind of permission check you can make over here, right? So yeah, you need to create one broadcast channel over here. Then we are specifying a join. Then there are three functions here, joining and leaving. So here function will be called whenever you just join this channel. So say like I'm over here, and if I go to console, I remove it, and if I do refresh, right, then you see I got two users. One is Ankit, one is Mithun. So these two users are already online. So current users of this channel who are present in this channel will be given over here, right? And whenever someone is joining a channel, it will be given in joining function, and when someone leaves, it will be given in leaving channel. So now what we are doing, whatever users we are getting, we are calling update user status function. We are passing 1 for online, 0 for offline, and then we are doing just like jQuery thing, that find the element by data user ID, find the online offline text element, we remove the danger class, we add success class and change text to online, or if it is offline, then we change text to offline, add red danger class. So yes, that is what we are doing. So yeah, like it is a lot more thing, but if you really understand a code, then you can check this code which I will be sharing. But it is pretty simple. Like if you see in less than 100 lines of code, our group chat application is fully working, right? Even less than, like, because all these things are not related to actually chat. These are the main thing that is covering related to chat. All other things are pure HTML and CSS, so you can manage that based on the need of your UI. So, and even this is not just group chat, a lot more than that. So it is not just like, you can just build this kind of simple chat applications, but we have even built a full-fledged chat application, which I can show you a little bit demo. So if you see here, this is one chat application which we have, and which we have built already. So okay, so you can create, like conversations or groups, or even group chat is possible, block users and all those kind of things. So we have built this all fully group chat applications, right? Even if someone has seen your message or not seen your message, so if I'm sending a message over here, hello Laravel, right? Oops, this is pretty old session, I think. Okay, let me refresh. if I go here and say hello Laravel, you see it is added over here. Even it is seen over here, right? So this kind of whole thing is possible. It is just not like they are, even the group chat is possible. A lot of thing is possible, which are the members of the group. You can see them, you can remove them, block them, you can add more members, right? So uh, it is not just you can build simple chat applications, but you can go far to any level and build any kind of applications like full chat. Even lot of features are there in this chat application. And there is another kind of application as well. If you see, this is one application where we are utilizing the Echo. So if I move this file to here, again something is session out, but this is something like related to, or you can consider as a Trello or something like that, which is possible with even Laravel as well. So this is a one full product that we have already built. I can show you some demo with real-time collaborations. Okay, so these are the two users who are logged in differently. And if I go here and drag and drop over here, right, you see it is disappear from here, and it is already over here, right? So it is already moving. And even that, if I open this review and if I open this particular thing as well from here, so this is something where you can draw your annotations or something like that. So uh, these are two things. If I go here and if I draw something over here, it will be real time drawn over here. If I do some comments, so say there is no comment right now, I'm selecting it, I put some comment, hello, and I save it, then it will be reflected in real time over here. So any kind of this real time tool, if you want to do, this is purely using PHP, Laravel, and Laravel Echo, nothing else. You can draw anything over here. So let me change some color, right? And if I draw over here, then it will draw the same thing on the front end as well, this user as well. And you see the name are already reflecting. So this all things are possible by just using PHP. There is no need of any kind of Node.js or any kind of thing. So this kind of real collaboration tool are also possible to build. So yeah, and yeah, if you want to see the full-time application we have built, then we have that available over here. Say like which we are planning or we are already giving discount. So if you want to see the full code, or if you want to learn how the full chat application works, then you can go and purchase it. Our basic goal is like you can understand the full code, how you can implement group chat in that as well. And we will be giving 20% discount for next 3 days, where you can purchase it in less price. But it is like you can go and learn how all the things, how this code is assembled, how this particular group chat is working, how block feature is working. And if you have some application where you want to integrate the chatting, then it is possible. You can integrate it in any Laravel application 6 plus. So yeah, so yes, that is what like I have to show. I know like it is not possible in the full thing, like it is hard because of time constraint, but yeah. So yes, any questions from you guys, and thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mitul bhai. It's really amazing session. Your presentation skill is like very amazing.
Thank you
I
very
just
much.
yeah, I just enable the